what's your sense of how you go about monetizing this? Where, in this sense, I know 250 million market cap. It's not insignificant, right? You have 40 million cash in the bank. It's great, but at what point does this inflection point kind of kick in? What are investors looking for going forward?
Well, basically, you talked about the two kind of models, and Great Bear is kind of basically a brand new discovery, and they haven't put out a resource. Our people already kind of know what to expect with ours, but we want to basically show a new Cordero. We're not just taking it and filling up some holes and optimizing the mining and the engineering, and we are going to do all of that, but it's a new project. It's going to see way more drilling than was done before, and that's all going to put the story together. But basically, you know, our kind of timeline for putting things together is a resource by about this time next year, maybe earlier, and then a PEA subsequent to that. And in between that, probably every month, like we've been doing since we took this project over, every month putting out drill results that continue to show that we're executing on our plan, to show that there's a high-grade core there. And we've been able to successfully do that since we've acquired the project, and we hope we can continue to do that. So catalysts coming out for the next month, drill results, some more color on metallurgy as we progress. And then the ultimate goals, as I said, are resource and PA about this time next year.
Okay, and you think in terms of like marching up that development curve, that's going to be enough for you, or for you to get the market excited?
Yes, I mean, listen, it's everyone always says that they're undervalued, but we really truly believe as this project comes to light, you know, even despite us having a $250 million market cap, that's a fraction of you know, in terms of PNAV, we're still significantly undervalued, we believe, and I think the market's realizing that. The interesting thing about us is not only do you have the value of the DCF of the plan that we're going to put forward, this higher grade scenario, but then also there's a bunch of in situ ounces. What value do they get? Things like that. It becomes interesting because it's very sizable, as I said. Maybe I haven't mentioned it, but pretty well known, Cordero is one of the largest silver projects in the world. It's actually fourth largest in the world by just silver alone.
But it needs to be the largest economic silver project in the
world, right?
Correct. Little things. So what are you doing on that? What in terms of understanding the economics? Because I noticed in the presentation you kind of reduced the cutoff has changed, right? You know, you consciously said, hey, we can do better than this.
Yes, and again, at this time when Levon discovered it, that was you know, Penasquito had just sold for a significant premium prior to that, and that was kind of the style of project they were looking for. For us, again, we looked at this and said we need a project that works now. And then, like I said, the economics are first and foremost for us. NPV to CapEx ratio is important. IRR is important. Payback's important. All those things come ahead. Cash management. How are you going to pay for CapEx? Is it a staged CapEx? Yes. How are we going to go about showing that? So we think there's going to be huge changes in the resource model for the better, especially in terms of grade. We think the strip we're going to be able to improve with this drilling we're doing. And then we also believe that there's significant improvements that can be made to the engineering of it. For example, you know, in their flow sheet, there's an ore sorting step that you can add. Ore sorting will drop your material by 35-40%, your waste, keeping essentially all of your metal, and the whole back end of your flow sheet's a lot tighter, a lot smaller. Your recoveries could potentially come up because you have higher head grades. There's these things like that. Mine planning needs to be worked on. So this really isn't just tightening up the project that people are saying. It's going to be a completely new project.
Okay. Well, it's kind of interesting. You know, what you hope to and how the market perceives you are two different things. So, you know, positioning it as a new project is usually quite hard, but you've got the Oxygen Group behind you, track record behind you, and you got this guy called Eric Sprott just come in behind you. Like, there's all quite helpful things to try and change people's perceptions, well, you know, significantly. So can you just tell me a little bit about the team? We know Gurno Verber. He's like quite a classy geologist. So, but can you talk about maybe him and some of the other team and who you've worked with before, and you know, delivered value before?
Yeah, so my quick brief bio on me is I've been CEO of Discovery since its inception in late 2017. Um, Before that, I was a VP of Corporate Development, VP Engineering at Timmins Gold, which then became Alio, and now has been acquired by Argonaut Gold. And we were operating about 100 to 125,000 ounce per year gold heap leach project in Sonora, Mexico. So I have over about a decade of experience just specifically working in Mexico on the grounds. Then before that, I was at Macquarie as an analyst covering the junior golds, junior silvers, and prior to that, 10 years at Inco / Vale as an engineer, working up the ranks. Gernot Wilbur, you know very well. He came to us from Osisko Mining. He was their VPX. He was very instrumental in the early days of Windfall and putting that together and doing the amalgamation that you now know as Osisko Mining. 30 more than 35 years experience all over the world. Fantastic. He's leading the efforts on the ground. And then we've got our CFO, Andres Labe, who comes to us from Tahoe. Previous to that, he was also working with me at Timmins, fluent in Spanish, worked in Peru, worked with Goldcorp as well. So significant experience there. And then we've also added just recently as VP Corporate Development, Forbes Gemo, who was previously 5.5, I think 6 years at Guyana Goldfields in the same role. And previous to that, he was running a exploration company in Brazil that was sold to an Aussie company. And then prior to that, analyst at Rages. So very good kind of spectrum, broad kind of spectrum of skills. The management team we have, and then the board. The founder of Oxygen and of also Discovery's Marco Day, who's been instrumental of being on the board, as well as Murray John. Murray John's a very well-known portfolio manager, but also an engineer, mining engineer. But he's on the board. We also have Jeff Parr, who's chairman of Kirkland Lake Gold. So we've got a very strong board. Moira Smith, who's VPX at Liberty Gold, and she's got to be one of the smartest geologists in the world. It's been amazing to have her on too. So it's fantastic team around us and lots of Mexico experience.
How's your G&A? There's a lot of people there. How do they get remunerated?
Actually, the last ones I mentioned to you were board. The actual management team is pretty much composed of four people: myself, Gernot, Forbes, and our CFO, Andres Labe. We also have a country manager who's based in Mexico. So we actually keep G&A we try to keep it very